frequency radiation in Wi-Fi and wireless. I am more and more convinced that the road taken thus far by the Glendale USD is a huge mistake. I am sure that you are aware of the World Health Organization. They listed that radio frequency radiation is a Class 2B carcinogen based on studies done on grown-up adults' bodies that use cell phones for 30 minutes over a 10-year period. Children are still growing. Their bones are much less dense. They do not have the protection that adults do. When the World Health Organization is saying that this is a Class 2B carcinogen for an adult body, only using it for 30 minutes a day, you can only imagine what the results will be for a child's body that is exposed 6 hours a day for 5 days a week over a lifetime of schooling. Last week, I went into all 3 of my children's classrooms, and I found that all 3 of my children were sitting directly under the Wi-Fi routers. I asked their teachers to move them as far away from the routers as possible, which is still not far enough considering the routers are placed in the middle of the room. And the closer that they are to the router, they are more subjected to this radiation. The thought that another parent's child is now sitting under that router just because they don't know how dangerous this radiation is does not sit well with me. When expert scientists and medical doctors are saying that the standard set by the U.S. for radio frequency radiation is way too high, when experts are finding biological effects at much lower levels, sometimes by thousands times lower than the limits set by the U.S., how do we justify exposing children to it? Prop 65 requires businesses to notify Californians about significant amount of chemicals in products they purchase in their homes or workplaces or that are released in the environment. You will find these labels on products such as balsamic vinegar, dinnerware, or for harmful substances such as lead. Well, lead is a Class 2B carcinogen, the same way radio frequency is. Just because our laws have not caught up to the science does not make radio frequency radiation safe. When the state of California requires that warning labels be put on something like balsamic vinegar that is eaten maybe once in a while, why is it okay for a district to put the same class carcinogen in every classroom and expose children to it for 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, without not so much as a parent notification? I am a chemist by degree, and my husband is a Boeing engineer. And we value technology, and we value it for our children as well. Wired technology makes sense. A school district as big as Glendale can demand that the industry wire these devices to make them safer for our children. Our classrooms have the technology and resources for wires. Wires can easily run under buildings or even carpeting to prevent tripping. The classroom won't need to come up with 36 chargers to charge these devices at the end of the day. Children can have all their materials already downloaded into the devices, only need to plug in for internet capability and to charge the devices overnight. If the students need to take them home, they can simply unplug them and replug them at home. This will ensure that children are not only safe from RF radiation, but that they are using the internet in places where there is supervision to reduce the risk of logging into inappropriate sites. Just like asbestos and lead paint were considered forward-thinking at the time and later found harmful, so are iPads in schools today. Let's think even more ahead and have safe wired iPads that won't just educate our children, but also not expose them to harm. That's what we need to demand from this industry and our government, and as concerned parents, educators, and school administrators that care for our children. Thank you.